Hey all, and in the dead heat of summer, we finally begin to take a look at something new. I've been looking at a lot of like older items lately, and granted there's going to be some older items coming up, but we're going to take a little break from all that. We're going to take a look at something more in the realm of new, although even by those standards, my look at it is somewhat outdated. What am I talking about? It is the Siege War for Cybertron Netflix Hotlink with, what are their names? Heatstroke and Heartburn. Heatstroke is definitely something I can relate to right now. I am so very thankful to have this, but this isn't all that we're going to look at. No, because we also have this little bag, and this little bag contains some custom pieces. It contains add-ons from Nonnef Productions and a couple of pieces that are custom. So there's a whole lot to actually look at in the latest GotBot True review. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course subscribe, and light them up while you're at it, baby, and that's right, hit that notification bell. It helps me out a ton and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers, Collectors, NL, the Autobot Family, Transformers versus G.I. Joe versus DC Universe versus Marvel. And you know what? Me everywhere. Simple as that. Hey, while you're at it, why not check out what we offer through Teespring and check out the Patreon. This is Hotlink and his two little Battle Masters, and it's a great set. I'm not really in for all of the repaints in the Siege Netflix War for Cybertron trilogy line. I'm not even sure exactly everything it's called. War for Cybertron trilogy? Whatever. But I was very much interested in having Hotlink. I love the Seeker mold. I really, really do. Now, we're going to be able to look at this fairly quickly because we've looked at it a bunch of times before. The real points of interest here is this little add-on set and what difference it actually makes. We're also going to talk about how effective this might be as a stand-in for Skywarp, and we're going to look at the two little Battle Masters and kind of explain why they would probably be included in this set to begin with. What's the logic behind it? Anyway, without any further ado, let's head over to the table and take a look at these guys and all of these things. And finally, at long last, I have managed to score a Netflix War for Cybertron Siege Hotlink. Huge thanks to Non-Metal from the TFW 2005 boards. He's the guy who hooked me up with this set, as well as the upgrade kit that we're going to look at, of which a piece of it is actually a custom done by him. And it's funny because I saw that upgrade, photos of that upgrade on the boards, and I thought to myself, wow, you know what, that's kind of a brilliant thing to do. Little did I realize who it was, little did I realize he would contact me to sort of help me with this. And we also have an upgrade here from Nonnef. It's a whole lot of things to look at here. I know a lot of people have sort of looked at this set before. I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. We're going to focus more on the upgrades because we kind of know what this is going to be like. But regardless, we can take this out of here, and we'll just lay that aside for now. And we'll very quickly just sort of make a couple of notes here about the box. And as you can see, nice window. We have a picture over here of Hotlink. Over here we have like a black and white image of that Siege kind of artwork, and we have the artwork on the back. It is what it is, nothing spectacular there. And we've got some instructions here. They're pretty great, honestly. They work out just fine. And we have these two little blast effects. They're kind of great. And of course we have two Battle Masters in this pack as well. And yes indeed, here we have the two little Battle Masters. They are exactly the same. They are a reuse of, I think, the like blowpipe, caliber, stainless mold, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even know if they're all the same mold. But these guys are the exact same mold. We've seen it before. we know how the transformation is. I mean, if you like this mold, then overall it's like an 8 or 9. You know, if you don't like this mold, then it's not going to score very high. The only thing that I miss on this is I wish they had knees and elbows, but I can live with it for as small as what they are. The lad with the red visor is Heatstroke. The lad with the yellow visor is Heartburn. They are, as I said, exactly the same. The idea is that these guys are both like flamethrowers, and they're supposed to kind of work with Hotlink so that he kind of has his flamethrower, where Hotlink was part of the welcoming committee and all of that junk. This is supposed to be indicative of that, so he doesn't just have Null Race, he has flamethrowers, right? And in this case, instead of one of his Null Rays acting as a flamethrower, they're actually battle masters. As we've seen 100 times before, you know, up and around and out to the side, the legs forward and back and out to the side. We know if we take one of these little, of course this doesn't want to work for me right now. I'm not sure why it's not working for me right now though. There, we can put a little blast effect on there, and if we want, of course, we can put the feet together, bring this up over, put these up on the side, and like, there you go, basically. It's not all pegged in perfect, but we know how this goes. So, of course, there's 2 of them, and they do, of course, fit in Hotlink's hands just fine. But before we get to that, I actually wanted to start off and talk about the Null Rays for a moment. The one on the bottom is the Null Ray that comes with the guy. The one on top is one of the Nonnef Null Rays. Now, I've seen them in, I think, red, I want to say blue, gray to match Starscream, and black. And they're nice. They fit in very well. They're done very well. They're molded very nicely. What else would you expect from Nonnef? Beautiful work as always. But that's not all that we have for an upgrade here. Also included was this extra little blast effect. I have no idea where it comes from, but it looks beautiful. And this little custom piece. He kind of made a mushroom peg, and this is supposed to mimic a flamethrower hand. So you can remove one of the hands and put this on. Now, in the pictures that are on the boards, on the TFW boards, Non-Metal has a hose also used and attached by the arm and one of the 3 thrusters on the back. I don't have the hose, but I'm fine with that. And I don't think he has really figured out a way, at least not as of this recording, to sort of incorporate the hose in the alt mode, so I'm cool with it being left off, but we're going to see more of this in just a little bit. For now, let's begin with this gorgeous Tetra Jet mode. I adore the paint here. It's weird, the plastic feels different to me on this guy than the other Seekers. I don't know if it's the sort of wash that they have over it or what. I think, here's the thing, I can't tell if most of the plastic is like this black charcoal-y type of color with a purpley wash over it, or if most of it is purple plastic with kind of a charcoal-y wash over it. And then you have these lighter sections. The paintwork down here is gorgeous. It's not perfectly accurate because, well, we'll talk about that later, but it's absolutely beautiful. It makes a stunning, stunning display piece, no doubt about it. A lot of people have opted to use this guy as their Skywarp. Now, I'll say this, normally I would have the Null Race put in here under the wings. I don't have that done because I actually want to incorporate the other Null Race, the add-on kit, and so for now I'm going to just put that one up under, and I'll do the same on the other side. Undone the wing there. That leaves this piece. Now, while I don't have it shown here, normally the hands flip in when you transform the arms. We've all seen the Siege Seeker transformation a bunch of times. When you have this piece on, it's too long to flip in the arms. So really what I do is just, I leave it out on the side. You can still collapse the arm and close it. You just don't fold the hand in. You just leave this out. It's like a third, I don't know, flame-throwing blast or whatever. It really doesn't like stand out, it doesn't look bad, nothing like that. As a matter of fact, I'll show you it now. I'll pop out the handpiece and put this in so you can see it. And long story short, you can kind of see it right here. I don't have it pegged in perfectly. The hand is here. The hand, it just has a little mushroom peg on the wrist joint. You just pop this out and pop the other mushroom peg in its place. It's very, very easy to do. Speaking of him being compared to Skywarp, or used in lieu of Skywarp, well, and so here we have both Skywarp and Hotlink side by side in their Tetra Jet modes. Obviously, my Skywarp is pretty stylized. He has some Toy Hacks labels on him, as well as this fin piece, which I think is also from Toy Hacks. The customization done with these bits in this mode is all thanks to friend of the channel, Event Progenitor. It's funny. I have Skywarp because of Event Progenitor. I am lucky enough to have Hotlink because of non-metal. It just goes to show the support and people watching out for each other in this community. It's unparalleled, and it's so very much appreciated. Absolutely appreciated. Can I see how one might opt to use Hotlink as their version of Skywarp? Absolutely. I looked at Skywarp a long time ago in episode, and all the custom work I've done on him, a long time ago in episode 590. Just for interest's sake, I also looked at Thundercracker in episode 609, the Rainmakers, and what I did with them in episode 605, Red Wing in episode 677, Starscream way back in episode 545, and even Earthrise Starscream in episode 668. I'll put some cards up so you guys go back, check that out, see what I did custom-wise with some of those lads and whatnot. Speaking of the entire group of Seekers, however, here we have the entire group in their Tetra Jet modes, and like, I love this Seeker Squadron. I mean, it looks formidable, it looks uniform. I adore how this turned out. A lot of times people say, hey, I feel like I'm getting taken advantage of with so many repaints and whatnot, but this mold is so good that I really don't feel like that. Every time we have the option of kind of, you know, adding to this force, I feel rewarded. I feel like this looks like a fantastic display. Now, before we look at the robot itself, I wanted to show the back of at least one of the wings. Now, both wings are like this, as are like other gray areas or black areas. It's almost speckly. I don't know if you can see it on the wing, but that beautiful speckling is kind of throughout. And I don't know if it's supposed to be like ash or burn or stardust or what, but it looks gorgeous, man. Now, as for the robot, and so indeed, yes, here we have the robot mode, and this might be the most unique of all of the Siege Seekers that we've looked at so far. As you can tell, we have some custom bits here, we have some stock bits here. On this side, we have the stock Null Ray. We also have one of the two Battle Masters in his hand with the blast effect that comes in package on it. On the other side, you see one of the Nonnef Null Rays. So you can see how the two Null Rays compare. I'll kind of remove the blast effects and whatnot momentarily so you can see that a bit easier. And you can see that the in-package blast effects that come with this guy do in fact fit in the custom flamethrower hand replacement piece. Honestly, if you want to know how that's made, what it was done like, my suggestion to you is look up Non-Metal's thread on the TFW 2005 boards. He kind of explains it and shows it there splendidly well. And yeah, so that's, you know, let's take this out. That's kind of the stock versus the custom. You can see the difference here in the two Null Rays. The ones from Nonnef are not only made from a nice material and solid, but they are more slender, I guess is the best way to term it. They are different than, for example, what you get in Earthrise. More similar to it, but they're definitely their own mold for sure. So I can take this off, and I can put that Null Ray in there. And if I wanted to, I suppose I could put the stock ones on, I don't know, his wings or in his hands or whatever you prefer. I also have a custom flame piece that can fit in here, and like that looks To me, that looks fantastic, man. So overall, when I kind of look at the set as a whole, I see this, and of course I see the two Battle Masters. Now we're going to get into some of the scores here, and we have to kind of talk about the paint apps and whatnot first. Here, I'll even take that blast effect out of it. Again, beautiful blast effect, by the way. We know that Hotlink traditionally is the purple seeker that was part of the welcoming committee. He had a Null Ray in his hand, and it was a flamethrower. Now, some people thought that the flamethrower was his hand, but I'm pretty sure it was one of his Null Rays taken out off of his arm and used as a flamethrower, I think. So we do have an animation model to compare this guy to for accuracy. And when it comes to accuracy, this guy isn't accurate. He should be a solid purple, and he is mostly purple. On his wing, where we have the orange detailing, and by the way, on both of my wings, the orange detailing is not applied the cleanest either. I don't know, it's applied cleaner on other characters. But instead of this orange detail, we should have the traditional red and white stripes. I may do it yet, I'm not sure. I kind of like the orange here though. So we should have a solid purple, the red and white stripes, the thighs should be black instead of partially purple, the biceps should be white, and his shoulder pauldron pieces up here should be white as well. So, you would know it's Hotlink because the purple guy that's not Skywarp is Hotlink. But in terms of accuracy, it's really not accurate. I can only give it about a 5. I love it. I think the paint's gorgeous. I think it would be a crime. It would be criminal to paint it over. But if we're going by the animation model, I have to be objective, and objectively, this is maybe only a 5 for that animation accuracy. In terms of the articulation, it can do everything that this mold has always been able to do, with the head going left and right, and the wings able to move all up and down and in and out, and the shoulders go out, and they can go all the way around, and we have the double elbow and the bicep swivel, the wrist swivel. We have the waist, we have the, kick back a bit, we have the super high kick forward, right? We have the super duper high kick forward, we have the thigh swivel, we have the extremely deep knee with the piece on the back, we have the ankle tilt, we have heel and toe forward. It's a 10. It's an absolute 10, and the transformation is, as it's always been, about a 7.5. I've said that these guys are 9 all along. This guy in particular, because of the inaccuracy of the paint, probably should be a little lower, but I'm going to say that overall he's a 9. As a whole group, I think that's what justifies the 9. Even if I was to mark down the Hotlink by himself, his overall score would probably be I don't know, we'll say a 7 or something, I think the inclusion of the Battle Masters, even though they're the same mold, even though they're nothing special, is just enough of an added bonus, along with a couple of extra blast effects, which are nice, that I think it warrants an overall score of about a 9. I know I have a soft spot for this mold, but come on, man, how can I not when a group shot looks as good as this? Oh, hold on. Before we go to the group, I was being neglectful. I apologize. I promised you guys that we would very quickly kind of look at the two robot modes side by side for Skywarp and Hotlink, since a lot of people have wanted to use Hotlink as their Skywarp. And kind of how easy or hard would that be to do? Well, if we start from the very bottom and kind of work our way up, starting with the feet. And by the way, the custom work that I did on my Siege Skywarp, and if you even look at the Earthrise Skywarp, the color layout is exactly accurate to what it should be. So, starting from the bottom, you would have to paint the feet purple, and the little purple part that's on the foot of Hotlink, you'd have to paint like a silver or a gray. The little kind of purple sections right here that are black on Hotlink, you would have to paint those purple. The entire leg, with that gorgeous purple shading fading in it, would have to go painted like black or a gunmetal gray. When we go out to the wings, you'd have to finish painting in the wings the right color. You'd have to put a purple strip and either a white or a gray line as well. The arms are fairly accurate, to be honest with you. You could probably sort of leave them. The pelvis, the chest, and the shoulder pauldron things, you would have to paint those like a gray color. So could you do it? Absolutely. Is it a little bit of an invasive, extreme type of repaint? Yes, indeed, but it is definitely possible, and of all the molds, if you wanted to make a custom Skywarp, this is probably the best base one to begin from. Now the group image. And man, do I adore this group image, there's no doubt about it. I mean, we all know that Starscream's always been called, you know, he is like the air commander, and he's the leader of the Seekers, and normally, you know, he always has like his two lads next to him. And you could probably even stretch it out to include the Coneheads, but in terms of like a cohesive air unit, I think this display is amazing and knocks it absolutely out of the ballpark. And here we are once again, and here they are, and here's the bottom line. I like the Null Race from Nonnef. I think better than the regular ones. The regular ones are fine, there's nothing wrong with them. But I think I prefer the ones from Nonnef. They always make a great product anyway. The little handpiece that becomes a flamethrower I think is fantastic. I would not be able to exactly tell you how to do it. Like I said, refer to the thread that Non-Metal has on the TFW boards. You should be able to see more there. It's very simple. As long as you can get a mushroom peg, it's actually a very simple process of popping out the hand and popping in the flamethrower. It's cool that it works with the Siege Blast effects. I think that that's fantastic. I like this guy, I really do. Do I wish that the paint was a little more accurate? Maybe. Will I ever do it? I don't know, because like I said, I think it would be criminal to paint over the glorious job that's actually been done here. If you get none other from the Netflix War for Cybertron line, I really advise you at least getting Hotlink. By the way, a lot of people have speculated that based on the trailers, Hotlink might be the zombie seeker that appears for like a second. And maybe he is, but whether he's a zombie seeker or just another seeker that looks good in purple, he is fantastic either way you cut it. Let me know what you think about this guy, the Little Battle Masters, and the add-ons. You know, I love to hear from you guys. I appreciate you coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, there's a donate link down in the description. Of course, you can visit us on Patreon or see what we offer via Teespring. Hit the subscribe button, man. Stick around, have some fun with us. And I look forward to the next time, baby, that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres of the old-fashioned way, right here inside the videos.